Once upon a time, in a small wooden cottage by the forest, there lived a poor woodcutter and his wife. They had two children, a brave boy named Hansel and a kind little girl named Gretel. Times were hard, food was scarce, and the family often went to bed hungry. One night, when the children were asleep, the stepmother whispered to the woodcutter, "There isn't enough bread left for all of us. Tomorrow we'll take the children deep into the forest and leave them near the trees. Otherwise, we'll all go hungry." The woodcutter's heart trembled. "I can't do that," he said softly. But the woman insisted until at last he agreed. But Hansel had been awake, and he heard everything. He quietly stepped outside and filled his pockets with little white pebbles that shone under the moonlight. The next morning, the stepmother said sweetly, "Come, children, we're going to gather wood with your father." As they walked, Hansel secretly dropped one pebble after another behind them. When they reached the heart of the forest, the woman said, "Rest here by the fire. We'll come back soon." But as evening came, no one returned. Gretel began to cry, but Hansel smiled gently. "Don't be afraid," he said. "When the moon rises, the pebbles will shine and show us the way home." And indeed, when the silver moon climbed into the sky, the stones glittered like stars, leading them safely back to their little cottage. Their father rejoiced to see them again, but the stepmother frowned darkly. Some days later, hunger returned, and once again she whispered to the woodcutter, "This time we must take them farther." They always find the way back. Hansel tried to gather pebbles again, but the door was locked tight. So instead, he crumbled his slice of bread and dropped crumbs along the path. They walked deeper and deeper into the woods. When night fell, Gretel asked, "Hansel, where are the crumbs?" He looked down and sighed. "The birds, they've eaten them all." Now they were truly lost. They wandered for hours until far away they saw a soft golden glow between the trees. As they came closer, the air filled with the smell of sugar and spice. And there stood a little house made of bread and sweets, walls of gingerbread, windows of sugar glass, and a roof of chocolate bars. "Let's taste it," whispered Hansel, breaking off a small piece of candy. It was delicious. But just as Gretel took a bite, a creaky voice called out, "Nibble, nibble, little mouse, who's that nibbling at my house?" The children froze. The door opened, and an old woman with sharp eyes and a crooked smile stepped out. "Oh, my poor hungry children," she said kindly, "come in, come in. There's plenty to eat inside." Hansel and Gretel followed her into the warm, bright cottage. But as soon as the door closed, the woman's eyes turned cold. She was a wicked witch who lured children to her house with sweets. Before Hansel could move, she clapped her hands, and he was locked inside a wooden cage. "Now, little boy," she cackled, "I'll feed you well. And when you're nice and plump," Gretel cried out, "let him go." But the witch only laughed. Days passed. Every morning the witch said, "Show me your finger." But clever Hansel handed her a chicken bone instead, and she grumbled, "Still too thin." At last she grew impatient. "Tomorrow I'll bake him anyway," she hissed. "Gretel, heat up the oven." When the fire was roaring, the witch said, "Is it hot enough?" Look inside and see Gretel pretended to be confused. "I don't know how. Could you show me?" "Like this," the witch snapped and leaned forward. Quick as lightning, Gretel gave her a mighty push. Whoosh! The witch tumbled into the oven, and a puff of pink smoke filled the air, sweet and sparkling like cotton candy. The witch was gone. Gretel ran to her brother and unlocked the cage. "We're free," she cried. Hansel laughed. "You did it, Gretel." "No," she said, smiling. "We did it together." Inside the house, they found a chest full of gold and jewels. They took a few pieces, just enough to help their father, and followed the forest path home. When they reached their cottage, their father ran out and hugged them both, tears of joy in his eyes. The cruel stepmother was gone, and the house was once again filled with laughter. From that day on, Hansel and Gretel were never afraid of the forest again. They had learned that courage and cleverness can light the way, even through the darkest woods. The end.